You keep defining abortion as the babies, which biological fact is you would say most abortions are done before they are actually babies. It's still just a fetus. So my
do
question...
you know what the word fetus means?
It's just a cluster, a
That's
zygote
not what
developing
fetus
into...
means. And you were that being once. You, the person who's standing here right now.
Do any of us have a memory of being that being? You stress murdering babies a lot, but when it comes to murdering babies, kids, and everything in everyday shootings that keep happening, you say nothing. So I ask, why is it okay to murder babies when it's regulating women but not regulating guns?
No, I say specifically on the issue of black people being 10,000 black people are murdered every year with knives and hammers and the like, but 242,000 black people at the very least for abortion. So that would seem to be a more pressing issue, but
胎児はただの細胞だからまるで価値がない。こんにちは皆さん、エリタです。今回の動画なんですけど、マイケル・ノールズっていう中絶反対を訴える保守派政治活動家と左翼の生徒の討論の様子ですね。頑張って翻訳しましたので一緒に見ていきましょう。ではどうぞ。頼むぜアメリカ。
You keep defining abortion as the babies, which biological fact is you would say most abortions are done before they are actually babies. It's still just a fetus. So my
do
question...
you know what the word fetus means?
It's just a cluster, a
That's
zygote
not what
developing
fetus
into
means.
a baby eventually.
The word fetus, it's a Latin word, and it just means offspring. That's all it means. It just means the next generation of a being. So, but that's what a baby is also. I mean, that's what you would call your adult child someday once he's grown, hopefully if he hasn't been murdered.
Can I ask my question?
Well, I'm just like to clarify this point. You would call your adult child your offspring too, but all of these terms that you might use, fetus, embryo, the one they love is zygote, which sounds like a Pokemon, but they use all these different terms, but it's all referring to the same being, and you were that being once. You, the person who's standing here right now.
Do any of us have a memory of being that being?
Oh, I mean, I don't have a memory of last Thursday, frankly. It's been a very busy week, but the lack of a memory doesn't mean that it's all right to be.
Well, anyways, my question is, you stress murdering babies a lot, but when it comes to murdering babies, kids, and everything in everyday shootings that keep happening, you say nothing. So I ask, why is it okay to murder babies when it's regulating women but not regulating guns?
No, I say quite a lot about that, actually. I think the crime is a terrible problem, and I think it's just awful that liberals have funded and intentionally installed liberal DAs who won't prosecute violent criminals. This has led to an increase in violent crime, and it's awful. I totally oppose that. But it's not me and it's not my side that's funding that sort of thing. Now, you say, why wouldn't I want to regulate? Are very regulated in the United States as it is, and I've yet to hear one proposal that would stop any of the incidents that people talk about. People focus on the sensationalized ones from the news, a school shooting, a movie theater shooting. No proposed control legislation of the last 30 years would have stopped any of those, and the majority are gang-related in their hand shootings, and so I'm all for cracking down on those gangs and throwing them all in the can, but it's usually the liberals telling me that we have to abolish the police and go soft on crime, and they were just failed by society, and so we can't put them in prison, and we have to abolish the prisons too. That's not me. I'm all for it. You want to get me a bill, you want to elect me to office and get a bill in front of me that will crack down on gang crime and these gangsters using hands. Let's do it. I'd sign that in 2 seconds, but it's not up to me, unfortunately. It's up to the side that I suspect you would consider yourself to be on.
No, it's up to a side that you're often a part of, and even if it's not you specifically, it's your friends and the people you support that just continue to, it's just, you aren't considering both sides and how, saying one thing can just contradict the other thing.
How do you think I've done that?
By saying you're babies, blah, 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 just over and over again, but just not mentioning any of the babies being murdered every single day in shootings that haven't even made it to major news outlets because they're so common.
No, well, that wouldn't be a contradiction or a hypocrisy or anything. I'm focusing on one particular issue called abortion, but I actually mentioned in the speech tonight that specifically on the issue of black people being 10,000 black people are murdered every year with knives and hammers and the like, but 242,000 black people at the very least for abortion. So that would seem to be a more pressing issue, but I brought it up. I'm all for trying to reduce the rate. Unfortunately, liberal DAs are not allowing us to do that. So, you're more than welcome to convince your fellow liberals to stop funding these people and to start arresting. But my side of the political aisle has been arguing to arrest and keep those locked up for a very long time. And so there's very little we can do if the other side of the aisle won't work with us.
いやー皆さん動画どうでしたか？胎児はただの細胞だから赤ちゃんとは違うって言葉は結構考え物ですよね。最近のアメリカでは出産直前までの中絶を容認しろっていう中絶過激派も現れてきている状況なんですけど、僕はこれはさすがにやりすぎだと思いますね。最も射殺数等が多い黒人ですら年の平均で1万人が被害になっている現状に比べ、年の平均中絶数が約24万人。彼の言うようにもちろん凶器による事件は減らすのが大事ですけど、中絶数も容易に無視できないものになっているのは確かですよね。実際ある州では出生数より中絶数の方が多くなっていることがあるみたいですし、個人的に中絶そのものは選択肢として女性にあるべきだと思います。ですがはっきりした条件の線引きは必要だと思いますね。マイコーのような活動家がいなくなってしまえば、犯罪者は悪だと教えてくれる人がいなくなってしまうようにすら感じますよね。アメリカ頼むぜ。ではここで現地の声いくつか紹介していきますね。She didn't come to listen, learn, think, or evaluate. She came to spew her friends and teachers' talking points. Ignorance is rampant in the youth of America. Great job to parents and the school systems. The smug look on her face showed that she was going to ignore all facts given to her and continue whatever narrative she was to believe. I can't take her seriously. The only credit I can give her is not reading off her phone, which I'm very surprised at. I was a fertility nurse. I got the privilege of watching that clump of cells growing under a microscope. A cell is a living thing. Only fertilization takes place, life is happening. A baby is formed from a zygote, then to a blastocyst, when it's put into a uterus of the hopeful mother. Ask any couple going through IVF if that clump of cells is a baby or not. She is a prime example of the education system in America today. Taught what to think, not taught how to think. 皆さんの考えもよかったらコメントで教えてくださいね。このチャンネル頼むぜアメリカではこういったマジかよっていう欧米ニュースを楽しく取り扱ってます。チャンネル登録していただけるととっても喜びますんでよろしくお願いします。では良い一日を。Yo, lazy, run it up.